all my normal school days are over and now it's pure torture and suffering. Hey guys, what's up? It is the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do my first album review of 2020 of the decade. More like the first review that I'm going to do a review on an album released in the 2020s. And today I have planned to do an album review on the latest Eminem album, Music to Be Murdered By. So, Eminem, Marshall Bruce Mathers III. He's back. Rap legend, hip hop, famous guy. he he's back and with a surprise album. He just decided to drop this album at one night, all of a sudden, without any promotion whatsoever, and Music to Be Murdered By. I'm kind of underwhelmed and disappointed, but not in a way it's surprising because to be honest, Eminem's last two albums aren't really good either. So I'm gonna just go through the Eminem albums really quickly. He started off as a rapper in Detroit with the Infinite EP, which is just okay, but he really blew up when he released Slim Shady LP, which is this really edgy, funny, rebellious, controversial rap album that has a few nice beats, even though they're not all that versatile. And then we have the Marshall Mathers LP, which is usually considered as the best Eminem album. And truly, it is fantastic. It is one of the greatest hip hop albums of all times, in my opinion. All of the beats on this project are cohesive, they're solid, but also they seem naughty. They seem edgy and bad. The lyrics, they're even edgier, they're even dirtier and nastier. A lot of amazing bars and amazing flows. But my personal favorite Eminem album is The Eminem Show, because Eminem showed his utmost versatility on this album. There are so many underrated tracks here, namely Business, Soldier, and Say Goodbye to Hollywood. There are a lot of great tracks on this album, and on each track, Eminem presents a different flow with a different style on a different instrumental, and it still works. And then his career went downhill when he dropped Encore, where apparently he made the album on drugs, high, and the result is a bunch of really gross, disgusting, also uninteresting tracks, even though there are a couple of good songs. And then afterwards, in 2009, he dropped Relapse, where he finally, I guess, got free from the drug influence. But still, the songs here, they feel kinda sloppy. Not as interesting or as high quality or as serious as some of the past Eminem stuffs, even though Relapse is clearly better than Encore. There are a lot of great tracks here. Deja Vu, super underrated. And then a year later, Eminem made a great change in his career with the dropping of Recovery, which is this pop rap album. And it was just kind of underwhelming, to be honest. Even though, again, there are a handful of good songs on this album, there are also a lot of songs here that just feel drab and just kind of mainstream and overly melodramatic. However, in the year 2012, I think, Eminem dropped the Marshall Mathers LP2, and it looks like Eminem is finally returning to form and dropping some actually good music here. There are a lot of tracks here, while yes, they're pop rap, but it sounds like Eminem lit a fire under his ass and makes some of the craziest, most fun experimental beat that he would make on an album. And he has some amazing bars, amazing flows, a lot of fantastic features here. The ragged guitars on Survival, the booming drums on Asshole, Bad Guy, Evil Twin, the really slick and funny Love Game. There are tons of great tracks on the Marshall Mathers LP2. And then in 2017, he dropped Revival. And it has to be one of the worst albums of the decade because every single track feels dated. They feel gross. They are terribly produced. The bars are corny. There are a lot of crappy uh, puns here and there that make me cringe. The one about diarrhea is stomach churning. And then in the year 2018, he dropped a surprise album, Kamikaze, which isn't really that great of a quality change. It's definitely better than Revival. Let's be honest here. The production, it's definitely better. But the songs, they still feel drab, watered down, and there are a lot of cringy bars as well. But one of the tracks on Kamikaze is the title track, and Eminem lit a fire under his ass and made something freaky and not serious, and it actually is the only good song on the album, in my opinion. And then he dropped this album in the year 2020. And, you know, not to my surprise, it's not that good as well. But the good news is it's definitely better than Revival, duh, and I think it is slightly better than Kamikaze. Starting off with the concept of the album, Eminem clearly made the album about murder, music to be murdered by, and it's a very Alfred Hitchcock inspired album. There are a few interludes here where it's just Alfred Hitchcock speaking, which looks like something interesting at first, but when you think about it, isn't murder a theme being explored on every single Eminem album ever? It's it's not like Eminem had never talked about murdering people or getting murdered before. So the concept of this album of murder, not really all that unique in my opinion. And then we have the instrumentals here, and to my surprise, actually, Eminem made trap rap because he had to appeal to the new hip hop audience now. So I guess Eminem just resorted to trap rap and pop rap, and it's not good. I am not wowed by any of the trap rap songs on this album, especially when Eminem still retains his uh, kind of annoying, obnoxious, angry staccato flows on the trap beats. But still, it is pretty obvious that Eminem had improved when it comes to songwriting and lyric writing. The album starts off with Premonition, an intro with a woman getting stabbed and Eminem going, yeah. And we essentially get this boring generic trap beat, some really dramatic R&B vocals as the hook, and Eminem just, I guess, showing off his angry staccato flows. Pretty boring intro in my opinion, but honestly, it is not that bad as far as trap rap goes, so I guess I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Yes, I'm going to give every single track on this album a score from 0 to 10, like in all previous Eminem reviews, so I'm going to keep on with that tradition. And then we have Unaccommodating featuring Young M.A. with an even more generic ass trap beat and some more corny lyrics like Eminem pointing out that a lot of people, a lot of his students are copying his flows and his lyrics, which is actually a really good point to be made because there are a lot of copycats out there and they should really just stop. And now Eminem is pointing that out, and I think it's a great thing that Eminem is pointing that out. But the bar that succeeded that line is students remind me of eyeballs because I watch my pupils get cornier, like cornea. Ugh. And then there's another lyric on this track where Eminem sort of mocks the Manchester bombing incident in the Ariana Grande concert. And right now, this line has become one of the most controversial hip hop lyrics of the year so far, getting people on the internet all fired up, in classic Eminem controversial style. But still, instrumentally, musically, lyrically, it's a pretty bland song. Not all that interesting. I'm not all that surprised by it. It's another 5 out of 10 for me. And then we have You Gone Learn featuring Royce da 5'9", and it's another trap rap song, except this time it's the woozy, trippy, cloudy, drugged trap rap sounds like something that came out of a Astroworld or a Travis Scott song in general. And we get these very annoying pitched vocal samples. And it's annoying. And however, Royce the Five Nine's performance and Eminem's performances here, they are pretty nice. Royce the Five Nine's lyrics here, they're good, and the lyrics overall on this track, especially with Eminem's lines, they're not bad. They're actually pretty cleverly written, and they're not as cringy as I would have expected. So the bad qualities of this track and the good qualities of this track balance out with one another, and I'm giving this track a 5 out of 10 as well. And then we have Those Kind of Nights featuring Ed Sheeran again, where we get this simple bass boosted trap beat that is really stripped back. And honestly, it sounds like it's going to be a freaky fun banger at first, where Eminem does his really fun, aggressive flows on this simple trap beat. It looks like it may be something good until Ed Sheeran hops in and what? Ed Sheeran is the last person you would expect on a trap rap song. He's totally misfeatured on this track, and we get all these lyrics about sexual encounters and going to the club, and the hook on this track is tedious. It's greasy. It's oily, and we get lyrics like, "I get head in a bucket like Marshmallow because he has a bucket on his head." Ugh. 4 out of 10. And then we have songs like In Too Deep, where it's this slight soul hip hop fusion. Sounds like something that would have come off from the last couple of Kanye West projects. However, the beat is still pretty boring and still pretty stripped back, and this track has to be one of the most boring tracks on the album, so I have to give it a 4 out of 10 as well. And later on in the album, we get another one of those drugged, trippy, cloudy trap rap beats that's trying to be psychedelic and dreamy, but actually it's not. All that it is boring and tedious. And then we get the auto-tune crooning on the track. On that track, which is No Regrets, and they're bad. They're honestly kind of bad. Still, not that terrible of a song, but honestly, I am bored by the track. I'm feeling a 4 out of 10 on that track as well. And then later on in the album, we get another generic ass trap rap song with Lock It Up featuring Anderson .Paak, and again, Anderson .Paak is totally misfeatured on this track. If you want to feature Anderson .Paak in your rap album, you put him on top of an R&B instrumental or a soul instrumental or something funky, but not some generic ass trap beat. It's not gonna work. Anderson .Paak's performance, of course, it's good, but he's totally misfeatured here, and it's another one of those generic ass trap beats that Travis Scott may hop on and start auto-tune crooning over, and yeah, but still, Anderson .Paak's performance, pretty good, pretty solid, and I'm happy that Eminem is featuring someone like Anderson .Paak, so I guess I'm feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 for the track. And we actually get a few good songs on this album as well, like Godzilla featuring Juice WRLD, and Juice WRLD, rest in peace. And Juice WRLD's hook on this track is actually really slick, really sticky, and memorable. There are some goofy keyboards and a really simple beat on this track, but it just amplifies the comedic effect that the lyrics on this track have. And at the end of the track, Eminem just goes crazy fast, like when he's rapping on Rap God. And while, yes, I admire the skill, the rap skill that Eminem has, it's not really that great of a piece of music to my ears, to be honest. But I actually do appreciate the fact that Eminem is really self-aware of the fact that he raps really fast and people mock him for that. And he actually does a little Chris D'Elia reference at the end, washing the floorboards with Harrison Ford. So yeah, pretty fun track. Feeling a strong 6 out of 10 on this track. And then we have Darkness, which is one of the singles for the album, and a lot of people say that it's great. I disagree. I think it's a really boring track. We get the "Hello, darkness, my old friend," a poppy, cloudy rendition of the Simon and Garfunkel track. And for the instrumentals, it's basically this quiet piano trap rap track, and it does sound pretty bland and mundane. We get lyrics dealing with drugs and mental illness, and while I do appreciate that Eminem is exploring personal themes, but it's not like Eminem had never talked about drugs and mental illness before. It's like he talks about that on every single album. And yeah, still a really weak song, feeling a 5 out of 10 for the track. And then we have Leaving Heaven featuring Skylar Grey. Of course, he's going to feature Skylar Grey on every single album now. And it's this melodramatic song that's slightly jazzy and bluesy in 3/4 time signature. That's really sloppily produced, really muddy, unnecessarily explosive, and we get lyrics about sort of coming out of poverty, sort of making a living out of it, which is really cool. But still, the instrumentals, it just ruins the track. 4 out of 10 for this track. And we also have Ya Ya, which is one of the greater tracks on the album because it features so many different rappers, including Q-Tip, who is criminally underutilized on this track. But I just really love the rough hip hop beats on this track, the buzzing synths, the hi-hats, and it's just a really fun song with a really nice hook. And I'm feeling a 7 out of 10 for Ya Ya. But immediately after, we get one of the most obnoxious tracks on the entire album, and that is Stepdad with a pretty unnecessary intro where throughout the entire track, Eminem pretty much sings really harshly and really roughly with these dense layers of vocals, like the vocals from Revival or Kamikaze, and it just sounds annoying. It's absolutely obnoxious, poorly produced, and the hook is literally hey, ma, stepdad. It's a really weak hook. I do not want to listen to that hook anymore. And with the really goofy slap in the face beat, I really can't take this song seriously. And with lines like "I'm talking euthanasia like kids in Taiwan," I don't really take this song all that seriously. I'm feeling a 3 out of 10 for the track. And then we have Marsh, which is also a very bad song indeed. We get these very simple basic pianos as the instrumental, and we get one of the dumbest chorus on the entire album where Eminem auto-tune croons over "My name is Marsh and I'm out this world. Call me extraterrestrial, extraterrestrial." It's bad. It's a bad chorus. The bass is thick. We get some nice light drums, but then we get the lyrics about how Eminem gets dough like Ed Sheeran, so call him gingerbread man. Or the other line about how he lives in an igloo, but he's not chilling the fuck out. Yeah, also a terrible song. 3 out of 10. And then we have Never Love Again, which is my personal favorite on the entire album. The chord progressions on this track, while yes, they're sampled, they're still good. I still like them a lot. The hooks, I never knew you, so getting something someone new. They're pretty. They're not that good, but they're not that bad relatively on this track, on this album either. And the lyrics, while it seems like a love song in the surface, Eminem actually talks about his addiction to pills and drugs, and it's actually a really smart metaphor. The verses are well written, and I actually really enjoy this track overall. Feeling an 8 out of 10 for this track. And immediately after, we have Little Engine, which is similar to Godzilla, and that is it is a goofy, simple, mindless little track with a really simple trappish beat, some goofy, tongue-in-cheek instrumentals that feel a little concerning, a little fun, a little animated, and some really nice Eminem flows, funny Eminem bars, some really nice ad-libs as well. Feeling a strong 6 out of 10 on this track, maybe a 7, maybe it's gonna grow on me. And then we have the track Farewell, which is easily the worst fucking song on the entire album. The instrumentals, they try to be this exotic, tropical flavored beat, and it's ass cheeks. This beat is ass cheeks. We get the chorus, which is this annoying, thick, rough chorus that is incredibly poorly produced, and the second half of the song is just singing, and it sounds ridiculous. 1 to a 2 out of 10. And to end off, we have the track I Will, featuring all the members of Slaughterhouse except for Joe Budden for good reasons. And the beat is actually pretty nice, pretty well produced here. And this is another one of those heavily collaborated hip hop songs. And it's pretty good. A lot of strong performances here. Maybe it's because Eminem is not taking the driver's seat here. But we get some solid performances here. The instrumentals are pretty nice. The chorus is a little weak, but I still enjoy the track overall. Feeling a strong 7, 6 to a 7 on this track. So yeah, overall, this album has its hits and misses. There are parts where the production is still bad, rough layers of vocals that are poorly produced, corny ass bars, but also some well written verses, some good features, some good instrumentals on this album as well. Pretty mixed. So I am personally saying that my favorite track here is Never Love Again, and my least favorite is Farewell. And I am giving Eminem's Music to Be Murdered By a strong 4 to a light 5 out of 10. So, have you listened to Eminem's Music to Be Murdered By from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like if you like it, hate it if you hate it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. Also, I will be reviewing the new Algiers album very soon. Maybe I'll talk about the new Poppy, Selena Gomez, and Halsey, but maybe not.